Sucks. Oh, I don't know how long I should wait because normally I do the share thing and fuck, you can't do that to me. Fuck. We're just gonna start. All right, I'm not gonna play the song this week because I am in a decent amount of pain. Hello, Amy. How is it going?
What's up, E?
Not much. I have labeled this Eric's bad week. I'm just going to start off with, for one, of the least of the bad things that happened, and that was if you notice, I never took an image of me touring that baseball stadium, which I'm assuming you would have known I would have if I had done it.
I forgot about that.
Right. So we got back from a terrible comedy night in Denver. Denver in general was not very good.
Why?
Just comedy scene was bad. I got pretty decent elevation sickness where I had like a headache for an entire night. And then we get back and I'm like, okay, Amy gave me that money. I'm going to go take that tour tomorrow. And for the second time in probably 3 weeks, I guess it was, or I don't exactly know how long, I was awoken in a dead sleep to one of my friends here, Tyler, having bed bug bites on his fucking body, all over his body.
No.
Yes, all over
bed
his body.
bugs?
Yeah, I don't know if we ever talked about it, but we actually had an issue at a KOA. But those people at the KOA were incredibly nice. They ended up putting us up in a like super deluxe cabin, giving us new, they were went out of their way to be apologetic. We did not experience the same at the La Quinta in Denver, where we were mostly told that oh, it's your fault that you have these, and this is probably you, and it's how can you prove that it's us? And that's fair.
Wait,
I mean,
so I honestly don't have any familiarity with bed bugs. You can actively feel them biting you.
Yeah, you get bit, and then all of a sudden the barks are pretty severe and pretty obvious. And
what do they look like?
The marks look like just like a really bad mosquito bite, maybe, or something.
Wow.
Something like that. And
they itch?
Yes, they itch. And so I was 1 a.m, woken up to this again. And he was talking to the Scott, and he was just like, I don't want to do it again. I don't want to have to wake him up again in a full-on sleep. But he's like, but you have to. You have to. And so they switched rooms with us. But then we had a situation where he's like, I'm sorry. It was just a midnight guy. I give the midnight dude at the desk the least amount of any angst. You know what I mean? He's a guy working midnights. Right. But he's like, oh, we just got to wait till the manager comes in. Then the manager came in the morning, and that was the worst of the three. He was full on just blaming us, not giving us any even kindness, and then just saying
that is crazy to me. That seems to me like it would be the ultimate oh shit.
Well, I think these people, it's I've been over to restaurants before where they're assholes who will sit there and eat a whole meal and then be like, oh, there was a fly on my food, and they'll just, oh well. And so anyway, he was just like, well, you'll have to deal with the general manager. And we're like, well, when does he get in? And he's like, he should be in at 9, but I don't know. Sometimes he could be in at 9. He could be in at noon. He's not even being friendly in his responses to us.
Jeez.
So then we're sitting there and it's I wanted to do that tour, but my name's on the room and really we have to deal with this. And so the general manager. And so eventually what happens is we're eating breakfast in a little area and he's supposed to be there at 9 and it's 8:58 or something. And I tell Tyler, I'm going to go put my food in the room. You wait, but don't go up and talk to the dude until I get back. And I walk back and he's up at the desk, but it was because the middle dude, the minute the general manager walked in, he just singled my buddy over, very unprofessional. He didn't take him aside and say, hey, there's a situation. Mm-hmm. These guys need to talk to you. He just the dude was logging in and he just raised my buddy over apparently, which is, God. I said, in my opinion, very unprofessional. He could have. So I do understand the general manager was just flustered because we're yelling at him and he's logging in. And I understand he's a general manager, but it could have been handled. The middle dude at this place was terrible. And so anyway, Tyler was going on to him about this before I got there. And I have definitely gotten more assertive on this trip because I've had to.
Yeah.
And he was kind of saying, well, we'll have to just look and let me just see what's going on or see what and all we were asking for was our laundry to be done. We weren't even asking for a new room. And
wait, you weren't even asking for your money back?
No, I wasn't even. We're just can we just get our freaking laundry done?
They were fighting you over doing laundry.
And
how much was it to stay there?
I think like 70, $80. So eventually the guy's like, here's the deal. We won't do your laundry. We don't do that when we, in these situations, we'll give you like $20 off the room, blah, blah, blah. And then he finally came up to the room with garbage bags, and he actually ended up taking 30 off the room. And I think it was full on because of how heated I was in the interaction. But, whatever.
Are you leaving reviews for these places?
We probably should. We took that $30 and we found out through this that you don't actually have to wash them completely. You can just, as long as you dry them on high heat, all your clothes. So we took it, we went to a laundromat with our clothes and garbage bags and put them in a high heat thing. And that was like $1.70. I bought my buddy Tyler some cream with a $30, and we just got pizza that night. It's like a whatever, like a,
oh, that sucks.
And so there was that.
So like, how long is he like in pain, like itching for?
I think he's fine by now. And I don't remember even when that was anymore. There's a lot that else happened in between this. I am only going to talk about the bad. We had actually a pretty busy week, but I'm going to only talk about some bad things. So there's that. Then we were at a Utah, which is an incredibly beautiful state in the end. And we were at a KOA, and my buddies had a friend that they used to roommate with come visit us. And it was cool. She had a cat, which was nice. I got to hang around with the cat Proops and stuff. But one night we got really drunk by the fire, and I do not sleep in ever, no matter whether I drink or not. And so I woke up, went to bed at like 1, woke up at like 7, went up to the Walmart to get some Pedialyte. That didn't really. And the problem is when you're camping, in a hotel room, you can deal with a hangover a little more. To me, there's a more comfortable bed. There's like an air conditioning. There is kind of a TV and internet and stuff. We were just in a little cabin where we have like one queen bed kind of, and like a bunk bed, no TV, no, anything. So I'm hungover and I'm like, I'm not going to sleep again. And I had done a solo hike the day before.
Okay.
And I thought I can, do a hike that will, whatever, man. You'll feel like you did something. It will sweat out the hangover a little bit. You're already awake. You're not going to sleep. And we are not, Utah, where we were, is not technically desert, but it is right on that border, man. And like these hikes I was going on, like I looked up a hike that was like an hour hike, 2.5 miles. But it is full on in the desert, like essentially. I know they don't say it's officially the desert, but there's sand, cactuses, the sun's beating down. And I have this app called All Trails that works even if you're not on the internet. It will tell you where you're going. But these trails were, this trail I was on was very remote and very unmarked with other signs, regular signs.
Okay.
So I get to a point about 10 minutes before the freak out I have. I'm starting to realize that this was a really dumb idea. Yeah. I am not eating. I'm sleep deprived. I'm definitely dehydrated from drinking, right? And all I have on me is one little bottle of water. And I'm by myself in essentially the desert, and they don't really know where I'm at.
Okay.
And I start getting like lightheaded. And I'm like,
no.
Holy fuck, man. And it's like, okay, just start breathing. Just start slow breaths. I was about halfway through the trail. It was a loop. I was about halfway through. I'm like, you're halfway through. Take breaths. Just keep walking. You're about halfway through. You can get there. And I get to a point where there's like, the trail goes, I think, up these rocks or something. And there is no signs. And I'm looking on my All Trails, and every time I walk left, I walk right, I walk straight. It seems like I'm off the trail now.
Oh boy.
And I don't know where to go, Amy. And it's like, honestly,
so the video you posted where your friend was looking for you
was real for sure.
I kind of feel bad for laugh reacting to it because I thought it was a joke.
No, I'm glad they at least made the video. I know. My only thing about it was I think they should have. I'm glad they made the video. I did think because with the video that it did not. You didn't necessarily know the impression that it was not set up. Although I never do anything that's set up. I would say that. But
yeah, no, I genuinely thought that it was a joke.
No, it was totally real. And so luckily for real, I am not trying to be dramatic. Like I could have died. I don't know what would have happened, but I was starting to have a panic attack. And luckily I will say T-Mobile right now with their 5G is really decent. And I did have service. And I called my buddy Tyler and I'm like, dude, I'm out of water. I'm kind of not sure where to go on this trail anymore. I'm freaking out. And they're like, they were concerned. And they're like, dude, where are you exactly? Can you send us a picture? Luckily, the trail was only about a 15-minute drive from my house. And it was only a 2.5 mile trail. But like, if I hadn't had the service, I was really having a panic attack and not knowing where to go.
Did you just like sit down and wait for them to find you?
Well, what I said was I'll start walking backwards. Even though that was longer, at least I knew it because I had done it. Yeah. And I said, I'll start walking back. And when you guys get there, we'll just meet wherever that is. Okay. And I'd say I did better, I think, but knowing that they were coming, knowing that like in the worst case scenario, let's say I pass out, right, or something, they're only a 20-minute drive and the trail is only a 2.5 mile loop. Mm-hmm. Like it's not a long loop. Yeah. So they could get to me if I passed out. They know exactly where I am. They're coming. So I think that with that in mind, and like I said, I'm not trying to be like, oh my God, this is the most dramatic thing ever. But if I hadn't been able to get a hold of them, I was 100% heat exhaustion, dehydrated. And it's like, it shows you like my mom would say something like this, but like I was only a mile from my car. But honestly, without the knowledge that I had friends coming, I think it would have been tough. I'm not saying I would have died.
Probably
I'm not going to say that.
Yeah.
But if I hadn't at least contacted them to know them where I was, if I passed out, what would happen? And you could pass out from, being anxiety.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
For sure. That's
and
scary.
It was it was so scary.
Leave it to E to get lost on a fucking 2.5 mile trail.
Well, and then it wasn't like I was lost because I was on the trail. But you just honestly, when you go out and they have said this,
you were freaking yourself out, E. Like I think you got in your head, like, oh shit, I probably shouldn't have done this. I don't feel good. I only have one thing of water, and you probably just like really made it worse than it probably was.
Unquestionable.
But that is scary.
But that's how it happens, though. You know what I'm saying? Like that is how it happens to me. Like and at the moment, it was very scary to me. Like, because I was literally just like the sun was like beating down, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
On me, and it was like, and like I said, I mean, I was feeling like lightheaded, and I was like, and when I realized
it was that warm in Utah right now.
It's I mean, it was at that point, I believe it was only 60-ish degrees. But again, when you put yourself in an area where there's no covering and the sun is, I mean, there's like. It was 60 to 70 degrees. But like it felt hotter than that. I don't know how to explain it, but because there's like these rocks are like kicking back the heat, I feel like. Yeah. Maybe not. I don't know how it works, but it was and then the thing is I definitely got heat exhaustion because when I got back even like I had to lay down for a while and I didn't even really want to eat right afterwards. And my head felt funny for a while, more than just a hangover. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so, so that happened.
Oh my God.
And then, this might not be a very long episode because I'm in quite a bit of pain, but, and I'm not saying that for you, but I'm saying it for other people. It's not, I'm just going to tell these 3 stories almost. And so that happened. And then we drove from there to Salt Lake City, which is Utah is a gorgeous state, by the way, for whatever it's worth. Beautiful fucking state. And so we were here in Utah. And we did comedy on Monday, which was kind of crazy because comedy consisted of an open mic where the guy who ran it, I think, hoped no one was going to show up because he got there a little late and there was no one else to do comedy. And when we came up and asked him, he's like, well, I guess I could start setting up.
Oh my God. He was totally hoping you weren't.
Yes. And so only us 3 did the comedy for 1. And 2, there was almost nobody there until one guy, there was like a group of travel nurses. They actually weren't nurses. They were X-ray techs or something like that. I'm only saying this because we talked to some of them afterwards, so if they don't get offended. But he had heard there was comedy over the speaker and just said, and I guess he had done comedy a few times in his earlier days. So he's like, "Oh, let's go check it out." And if he hadn't done that, there would have literally been nobody there, it would have just been us 3, just saying it to each other. So that happened. And then on last night, so here's the real thing. Last night, me and Tyler decided to do, God, I didn't even want to do it, Amy. I didn't want to do it. We were tired. We had done 2 podcasts in the day. That was supposed to be the day I kind of took a day off, and I didn't want to do it, but it was at a comedy club, Wise Guys. So we're like, oh, anytime you could get in a comedy club, it's legit. And because it looks cool, it's usually more like people pay attention more, yada, yada. And so we did that. It didn't go that great, to be honest with you. Tyler had a really rough set. Mine was like, okay. I got like laughs.
Your jokes were just not.
I don't know. It's hard to explain. We've been doing really good lately. Honestly, really good. And I was kind of shocked because I felt like I did a good job for the most part, but that's how it goes sometimes. Comedy's kind of crazy, I guess. I'm sure not for Newberg, but it is for me. And so after comedy, we weren't feeling that great, but I wanted to go check out the Capitol building because it's really beautiful up on this big hill. Or mountain, I should say. There's mountains everywhere here, really big mountains outside our hotel. Like you're sitting down here and it's 80 degrees and there's snow-capped mountains. And you can it's crazy to me. So anyway, we're at the Capitol.
And I have a video, but I haven't watched it yet.
You haven't watched it.
When should I watch it?
Pretty soon here.
Okay.
You have a video and we're taking cool photos. And I've been trying to do these videos, on the road and blah, blah, blah. And my coordination comes into play here.
Oh, boy.
So there's these arm ramps that go down the Capitol. Okay. And I'm going to slide down on my butt on the things,
Okay.
And I try a few times and I almost gave up because there was 2 levels of stairs, and the top level of stairs, there was honestly just so much friction that you couldn't get any momentum to even slide.
Mm-hmm.
And then we saw one a little lower, and this is where it's fucking dumb. I'm not even going to show you the first one, but we did it a few times, and I did one where I slid down the whole way. I got up and I did a little curtsy even, and I walked off. And I was like, I should do one more because I want it to be a little more extreme, a little more dangerous looking than what I just did. And that's when the video that you can watch if you want now happened.
Watch the video.
So for anyone that doesn't, I'll post this on my page. I haven't posted it yet, but
this is a Salt Lake City slide.
Oh,
are you okay?
I know people can't see this if you're watching on Facebook. I will post it. Luckily, Amy, I did not hit my head, even though I think it looks like I did in that video.
Oh, you landed all weird.
I luckily did not hit my head, honestly.
Oh my God.
But my right arm and shoulder, I mean, at a minimal, are very bruised.
Yes.
What we were looking up last night because I don't think it's broken based on the fact that I broke my left collarbone a few years ago. It's not hurting more than it was. Like when I broke my collarbone, I mean, within an hour, you couldn't even stand the pain.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's broken.
Probably just really bruised.
Maybe
like a cracked rib or something?
No, it's definitely not a rib. It's definitely up in my shoulder arm to shoulder, high arm to shoulder. What we were looking up last night is, landing on your elbow and not landing on your shoulder, not being able to move it.
Mm-hmm.
And it looks like unless you get a small fracture, you can tear or heavily bruise, your tendons up there and shit.
Yeah.
And it can take some time.
Yeah.
And the problem is we're at a situation where it's like, I could go, like even last night, we could have gone to an emergency room. Today, we've talked about whether I could go to urgent care and at least get x-rays. But the problem is with most of these, unless it's severe enough that it needed surgery, there's not much they do for it.
Well, that's just it. Yeah.
You get a sling,
there's not like maybe to keep it still, but I mean, if it's not broken, there's not going to be anything.
And I really don't think it is based on how the pain level is at this point, based on having broken literally a collarbone a few years ago. So at least that's a pretty good, I feel like a measure.
That sucks. So,
but I have been, and I'm not trying to be weird about this, but I have been crying today because it's like this trip, man. I put so much into this trip and I don't even know what to do.
Well, I don't think that it's gonna. I mean, I know you're in pain, but are you taking anything?
I took Tylenol and I've been icing it nonstop.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I just think you do that, and take it easy. I mean, make your buddies do the lifting and shit, and just take it easy for the next week, and you'll be fine. You know,
I know, but it's like
it sucks, but
I feel like I told them I have such a self-hate. Like you know what's funny? People that know you and me will know Jay, but you know, if randomly on the Two Hippies page, if they don't know the Detroit cast, they won't know Jay. But I felt a little like Jay last night, where I was like, dude, you know you don't have enough money for this. What are you doing? You already got a take that worked. What are you thinking?
Yeah.
You have these guys, you have a responsibility. You're the one running this show.
Yep.
And to do that. But I mean, Tyler kept telling me, dude, that is what you do, though. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make funny videos. I'm trying to get stuff that catches somehow.
Yeah. Right.
And gets donations.
Yeah, to be honest, like, if you're okay, that video is probably better than the other one.
It's way better than the other
one.
But like, it's not gonna. But I don't know how long I will be. When will I be okay though? I don't know.
Well, you're not fucking dead, so I think you can post the damn video. It didn't kill you.
No, I am gonna post it. I purposely didn't post it because I wanted to do this and then kind of talk about it on a thing and then do it. I mean, I did say this. We've had really good luck with our reels on our Instagram. Like we've had videos in the 5,000-6,000 views and stuff like that.
Nice.
And I was like, if this thing doesn't get some good views, I would be pissed. I mean, with you, especially when you start hashtagging like fail and shit like that in there.
Yeah, or Instagram versus reality, or
right.
Like
and you know the other thing that I had last night, and because we saw Jackass on this trip, and as you know, I've done Jackass stuff in my life. I've burnt myself, lit myself on fire. I've been thrown into a street sign before, yada yada. When you're older though, and like you're watching Jackass, and you think, oh, those guys do it.
Yeah.
Why am I such a pussy?
Right.
But fuck, man.
Yeah.
Like it's
not easy recovering from injuries the older you get, that's for sure.
And like I had this moment last night.
And on the road, like it's not like you have like consistent medical care. You know, you're not going to go back to the same doctor to get checked up on in a few weeks.
No. I say last night I was thankful that I actually fell asleep, which was God blessing to me. You know what I mean? Because I just like you having to sleep on my back. And it was really uncomfortable. And then I'd wake up and I'd for a split second forget about it. And I was like, oh no, that was real. And this sucks.
Oh, that sucks. I'm sorry that happened.
It's what it is. I mean,
bigly.
I know it's what it is, but it's like, we might stay here, for example, another night. Originally we were supposed to drive a few hours south tomorrow down to someplace between here and Vegas. I might stay here another night to just stay so I could stay in the same room and not sit in the car for 3 hours. I'm going to kind of see how I'm feeling tomorrow. But anyway, that's really just what I'm going to do in the end for this week, I guess.
All right. Well, hang in there, E. You were bound to have one bad week.
I know. I hate it.
Can't have all good ones.
I hate it because as weird as it sounds, maybe I'm growing up, but if I move it a certain way. I'm mad because this is on me though. This isn't like, you know, this isn't I don't know. It's not by chance. It's not we had a flat tire where there was like a bad, you know, shard of glass in the road and there's nothing you could do about it.
Yeah.
I could have prevented these. I didn't have to be an asshole and push one more time.
Well, yeah, but if you wouldn't have
that's the point of what you're trying to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's, you know, it's just a fluke accident. It's just
By the way, I will say your friend is still does it full on just listen to the podcast, even without your Twitter prompts. So
good. Although I will say, I won my appeal.
Gotcha.
So I will be getting my account back. However, they resuspended me when I tried to send out a tweet because they said I was trying to evade permanent suspension, which is weird. So now I'm back to being suspended. So I'm appealing that, but I should be back very soon.
Gotcha. Well, that's good to hear.
And
I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna get into what you're gonna be doing tomorrow. Well,
I was just gonna mention first. I was gonna say if you want to donate to Eric possibly having to go to the ER, you can Venmo him at Eric Fady because he might have some medical bills coming up here. So
this might
that would be helpful.
I was ready to do a video because my big intros now is always on the road, and I was ready to do a on the road from the Utah emergency room.
But yeah, I'm going to be on Heroin Has a Great Publicist later today. Chris and I will be going live. And then, tomorrow I'm going to be on TDC podcast. So
that'll be interesting. I will actually be watching.
Yeah, so. I'm ready for it. I think it'll be good.
All right, Amy. Well, I know this was, again, I feel like a lot of times this time I really, again, just kind of talk to you, but I do need that other person there.
Yes.
So I appreciate it.
Hang in there, E.
All right. That will be it for this week. Thank you, guys.
All righty.
Oh, my God. 1 second.